Hi, this tutorial I'll be showing how to map an existing custom domain system DNS name to an app service. So we are going to learn how to map a subdomain by using a CNAME record, map a root domain by using an A record, add an SSL certificate, redirect the default URL to a custom directory. So let's go into the portal, Azure portal, and go and select the app service. So if you don't know how to create an app service, we already discussed this in our previous lecture, Introduction to App Service. The link is displayed in the above. So now let's open this app service. So I have one app service named TechFeed Web App, and this has been located into the East US, and it is in the running state and the pricing tier of the basic plan. And remember that if you want to add a custom domain, you need a pricing tier of basic and above. The free tier will not support the custom domain. Now let's open the TechFeed Web App, and let's go into the overview page of this app service, and you can see that right now the URL it is using the Microsoft domain Azure website.net. So we want to change this URL to the custom domain which we purchased from the GoDaddy. So for that, let's go into the left side panel. In the left side panel under settings, you can see the option called custom domain. So click on that custom domain and select add custom domain here. And if you see here, there is a domain provider. I don't want to use the app service domain. I want to use the other service domain, that which I purchased from the GoDaddy. And I want to add the certificate. If you want to access this website securely, you need to add the SSL certificate. So you can either add the certificate along with this, or you can go and add the certificate later. I want to add the certificate also along with this domain. And you can select the TLS and SSL types, the two options here, SNI and IP base. So IP base, it will incur a cost. SNI SSL is mostly supported by all the browser, and it's come up free of cost. So I'm going to use the SNI SSL base SSL type here, and I'm going to add my subdomain. So I'm going to name my subdomain as web app dot my root domain. If you see here my root domain, so this is my root domain. Let's copy this root domain, and I'm going to add the root domain here. And if you see the host record type, it has been selected as a CNAME by default for the subdomain. And whereas if you are going with the root domain, then you need to select the record type as a record. So let's first add the subdomain. So if you see here, it is showing the CNAME and TXT. Need to add these values into your domain provider and then validate this. So let's go and add the host and value into your in our GoDaddy. So now let's copy this value and go to the GoDaddy. And here you can see an option called add. And I'm going to first add the CNAME. The CNAME is nothing but web app. So let me verify that the CNAME is web app and the value is techfeedweb Azure website.net. So let's go and add the CNAME first. So let's add it. Okay, so it's updating the DNS record. Okay, so the DNS record for CNAME is added. Now let's add the TXT. So copy this value and go to your domain provider and click on add. And this time I'm going to add a TXT file, and the name is asud.webapp, and the value is the one which I copy from the portal. So now let's add the TXT file as well. So let's wait for the DNS to be updated. It is successful. Now let's go to our Azure portal and validate it. To validate, you need to show that the ownership, right? So the copy of the host name record, what we enter below. So our CNAME is succeeded. The text file it's still in progress. So let's wait for a few more minutes and do a validation again. And now if you see both are being validated, I'm good to add this custom domain. So let's wait. So if you see here, my domain is been adding along with the SSL certificate. So all right, so if you see here, my domain is been already added and it is waiting for the SSL certificate to be bind. And if I go to the overview page, and I can see my URL is been changed to the web app dot my root domain. So let's click on this URL, and if you see, it is been redirecting to the default app page of the Microsoft. So now let's wait for some more time for the SSL certificate to be configured. So let's go to the custom domain, and still the binding is in progress. So if the binding is not happening, then you can click on the add binding here and select the certificate. So there is already an existing certificate. So if you're not seeing that, then you can go and add a new certificate, and you can select the SSL type and then select the source as create app service managed certificate, right? So and just go and validate that. So, but in my case, actually, I already have an existing certificate. Go and select that and click on add. So now if you see, the SSL binding configuration is also been successful. So let's refresh and wait for the status is now it is been showing us secured. Now if I go to the overview page and see the URL, it is been secured. You have the HTTPS URL. So now if I open this website, I can see it is been secured now. Now let's change this default HTML template. I have a simple HTML. Just go and add that HTML element. So for that, I'm just going into the app service editor. So in the app service editor, let's go into the editor. So in the app service editor, I'm going to add a new file. Let's name it as index.html. So, okay, so it is in the web.root, and I am keeping this sample file here. Okay, so here I'm just putting a header like Azure App Service and map an existing custom domain using an app service. So now it has been saved. Now let's go to the web app and refresh, and you can see the newly added index page has been displaying here. So that's all about this lecture. Hope you enjoy this video. Thanks.